This is why I was hesitant about Russell Westbrook as a Laker because of stuff like this. Your team was up 70-44 with 3 minutes, 28 seconds left in the second quarter. And they were able to cut it to 70-56 by the end of the first half. You guys came out in the second half. Oklahoma City outscored you 41-23 in the third quarter, 26-20 in the fourth quarter, and they beat you by 8. You turned the ball over 10 times. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. AD had 30 points. But the problem is with Russell Westbrook is that he makes a big deal out of, forgot the guy's name, because it's not even a shot at the Thunder roster, because the Thunder, I know they have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and they don't really have anyone that's going to have them in contention for the play-ins, playoffs, championship, of course. They will be probably the worst team in the league by end of the season. But Russell had a problem with the guy dunking the ball at the end. Was it necessary? It doesn't even matter if it was necessary or not. Because the fact of the matter is, the real story is, Kendrick Nunn being out doesn't matter. THT being out doesn't matter in this regard. Trevor Ariza being out doesn't matter. LeBron James being out doesn't matter. You guys are still a playoff team on paper without those 4 guys. And you want to make a big deal about a guy dunking the ball at the end when the real story is you blew a 26-point lead to a winless team who will probably go down by the end of the season as the worst team in the association this year. But him dunking the ball when the game was over was a problem. You were up 70-44, and they beat you to 100 points. They were able to go and score 79 points on you. But him dunking the ball is something you don't do. Now, something you don't do is blow a 26-point lead. And again, that's not all on Russ. I mean, he turned the ball over and you just looked at some of the passes and you knew a turnover was coming. It was when he kicked it out. Soft pass to the top of the key, top of the 3-point line. And I think it was Dort. Dort is another guy they have on the roster who's a great defender. But Dort picked it off, or he didn't really have to pick it off. He just came and just took the ball, went down and dunked the ball. And, you know, I'm still thinking they'll win this game, but this is going to be a really frustrating win. But then they had chances after chances after chances as they were cutting it close. They went on like a 5-6 minute scoring drought. But I mean, listen, what the fans say to Russ in Utah and Denver and other places where they were saying racist things or whatever. But that's always a thing with Russ. Even when you go back to the bubble with Rondo's brother, who was saying some stuff to him when the Lakers were closing out the Rockets. This is back when he was with the Rockets 2 seasons ago now. And Rondo's brother said something to him, and of course Russ makes that the focal point. Who is that? Who is that? And he's just, going back and forth. And it's like, yeah, he have a right. I'm not saying the guy don't have the right to stick up for himself or anything, but he's always trying to take the focus off the story. And the true story is, in that series against the Lakers, they won game 1 easily and got smoked the next 4 games. And last night against the Thunder, his old team, they were up 26 points and lost by 8. But Russ, being Russ, wants to make the story. The guy dunking the ball at the end was unnecessary. I don't even care about him dunking the ball at the end. When I saw the guy dunk, I didn't even think, oh, come on, man, you can't do that. You're just rubbing it in now. It was the 26-point lead that you blew. That was the story, and that would be the story. You getting ejected because, in basketball, you just don't do that from the old school. Be quiet. Be quiet. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna look at that guy and question his character because let me get this guy's name because I feel like I'm disrespecting him by not saying his name. Darius Bazley is his name. Darius Bazley was the guy that dunked the ball at the end, and Russ took issue to it because he's from the old school and you just don't do that when the game's over. Yeah, the game should have been over. You shouldn't have been playing in the 3rd or 4th quarter of that game. Or late in the 3rd and definitely not the 4th. This, nothing at all to do with the dunk. This is Russ being Russ. Every time something happened to where he feel embarrassed, he had to make the story about a fan or another player doing something you don't do, dunking the ball or whatever the case may be. And it's gonna get to the point to where if this inconsistency keeps happening, it's gonna get to the point where it's 2012, 2013 all over again. They'll never find separation from wins and losses. They'll always be close with each other. And like the Lakers did at the very end when they got Dwight that season, they'll be 45 and 37, 7 seed, and they won't do anything in the playoffs. I think they'll be fine though, but these are issues they have to fix because I came into that Thunder game with, them losing to the Warriors opening night, losing to Phoenix, getting smoked, barely beating Memphis, getting past the Spurs. And I came into this game like, all right, this one is gravy right here. And, when I got home and I was watching the game, it was gravy. It was definitely that. But then you saw it coming in the 2nd quarter at the end. The Lakers can't keep up with anyone. They get off to these starts, or they can keep up for a certain point, and then they can't make shots. They can't get stops. And that's when it's tough to watch them. Sure, everybody's gonna make the jokes and all that. Whatever, that's fine. I don't care about that. I expect that because it's the Lakers. They buy a team, they get all these big names, and they're not delivering. Criticism is gonna come, jokes are gonna come. I get it. I just don't get how you blow a 26-point lead to kids. They were, I left that game and I was just like, they earned this L. That's all. Hey, Lakers definitely earned that L. Upcoming schedule for the Lakers. When I looked at what, they got the Cavs, they got the Rockets again, the Thunder, and then it starts to get a little tough with Portland, Charlotte, Miami, you got Minnesota in there, Spurs, Bulls, Bucks, Celtics, Pistons, and all that next. But what I was trying to, what I think Frank Vogel was trying to do is, LeBron's ankle really that big of a deal? I don't think so. He just wants to see what the team looked like without LeBron. What can AD and Russ do? And then they'll have, last night I really expected AD to sit out because of the knee issue. And I expected LeBron to get back in there, and then he want to see, let's see how Russ and LeBron James perform without AD. Because they are aware that on paper, they are in the cupcake phase of the schedule. with the Rockets and Thunder. We lost to the Thunder and the Cavs and all these teams. And the Cavs have been playing some good basketball. For those of you who aren't paying attention to them, they've been playing good basketball. But the Lakers do have a favorable schedule on paper, you know, these upcoming games. But I figured that they knew what the schedule was and they wanted to just, you know, get some test runs before things start to heat up into next month and the month after that. And last night was just a major step back for what they were trying to accomplish. But they play, let's see, when is their next game? Oh, that was a frustrating loss. They play the Cavs Friday, tomorrow, and they don't play again until Sunday against the Rockets. 4 straight home games. They're not a very good home team. But are they going to win all these games? I don't know. I really don't know at this point. They just need to find some consistency and some balance between, you know, with their play. Get their conditioning up because, yes, we can hear the stories about them, you know, running drills, practicing, scrimmaging during the offseason. But there's a difference between practicing against your teammates and then playing guys who actually want to beat you. There is a major difference in the two. And that's what these teams want to do. They want to come out and prove the Lakers are just name value only. They're not really what y'all are trying to portray them to be. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna let y'all go as well. I appreciate y'all for taking the time to hear me out. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the video. What do you think about the Lakers so far? I know they've been crap, so let me know anyway what you think. Till next time, we will see you soon.